Good morning, everybody. This is Martin Wong here. Welcome to the breakfast show Money Talk with SmartRobie. I'm your host, together with SmartRobie, able to present to you all the facets of the market. Now, last night we have the US Dow Jones closing up 156 points. We were expecting the market to do much worse off because of the correction, but the news that we are seeing heal between the China and US regarding about the trade war has resumed. So we're expecting the market to resume. Now, meanwhile, our KLSE market continue to correct or going higher. We shall see. Let's go on to our story for today. Now, our first story for today, right, is no other than the debt level. Now, remember last week, we talked about the debt level, which was highlighted actually by one of the writers hitting 55% of GDP. It's more like, believe it's about 58%. Now, what's really worrying about this part is that we wanted to bring the debt lower, but we couldn't. And right now, the debt continued to go higher. If you add in all the obligation, we are close to 1.1 trillion. That's right, 1.1 trillion. And that's almost 70 or 80%, if I'm not mistaken, of the GDP level. Now, this is because it's due to the 259 billion, if you add in the pre-Hati Rayat, which came out because of the COVID-19, 260 billion, and as well as Bencana, 35 billion in here. Now, this will expect to bring our budget deficit, used to be 3.0, we moved to 3.3, right? Now with 3.4 and straight up to 5.8 to 6%. It's not the current government favorite point to talk about when debts are going up, but it's important to keep the money flowing so to keep the Rayat working, because the unemployment rate, which we talked about in last week's issue, continued to go higher. We're talking about somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, around 700,000, which is unemployed, or 5% of unemployment in rate. Anything below 3.5% is considered very good, but 5% is slightly above. Our last time we have such a high one was 7%, okay, which was back in 2009, okay. So that's some figures to talk about. It's there, but not as bad as we could see. Let's move on to our second story, shall we? Now, the second story also is regard of about the moratorium. Now, this is one of the reasons why I do see why the banking stock is not moving like it should, because of the low interest rate regime that we are seeing. A lot of banks are offering, very good rates, and that's why we see property moving, Bencana moving up higher, the stimulus property, right? But moratorium. Now, what this news says that, look, the moratorium will end on 30th of September, which is only about short of 2 months from in here. Is there a possibility of extending the loan moratorium? Maybe, depending who will be the current government of the day. So the political risks are all there. So loan extension, in my opinion, will result in tighter liquidity, no cash inflows, as well from possible the up of non-performing loans, which is usually we see on SME. Now, it simply says that the banking sectors are seeing headwinds. This is something that I do think many of the older investors who are looking for dividend and cash flow plays will want to buy into the banks. No doubt, banks are not the favorite, but you don't want to buy them when they are favorite, isn't it? Just like technology now, many times it started to run, we have to look for something buying on bad news. Let's move on to our next story here. Now, next story is the regards of the plastic manufacturer, or the EMS. Just like SKP Resources, which we talked about previously, yesterday, VS now started to report. Now, SKP did much better, right? But VS posts a net profit, which is of 19.53 million as of 30th of April, and revenue dropped by 43% to 500 million, all right? Wow. Okay, forget about the 788 over here. I think that's a typo started to come out. So what is really happening in here is that revenues are down, and these are due to the closure of factory because of the COVID-19, right? And we all know eventually when the news is back on the good news, it started to go up. Let's look at the chart, shall we? Let's see. And let's look at VS, which is VS. Just type VS in here. Right, and we can look at the stock price for VS. this morning. Stock price for VS is still at $1, not going anywhere. So let's look at the charts. Okay, the charts, it's coming up, and we'll bring it up in here. Now, if you look at the charts, it's facing resistance at $1. It did have an upthrust. Now, upthrusts are sign of weakness, which is a proprietary of SmartRobie in our company in here. It is, in a way, we can call it a slight pullback. Definitely green pentagon, you can see on the chart, were around the 20th of May, and it's moving up headway. Now, also, let's look at the dividend, if it does pay any dividend or not, right? So let's hit on to our main menu, and we want to check whether the dividend is being paid. Right now, wow, look at that. Okay, you can see it pays a 4.4% dividend. All right, that's not too bad. Being a growth company, again, bad news thing to accumulate. And that's how the game is played, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to buy when everyone is buying, right? And because the emotions is very intense, because we don't want to lose out. FOMO, fear of missing out. So look at your own psychology when you look at it. You want to be buying when news are not so good, and definitely is this the time. Now, chart wise, if you look at it, let me just show you in here. You can see, right, this one just pops it up back again. It is actually hovering around the 95 cents level in here. All right, when it starts to go up, that's mean the stock's going to move higher. All right, let's look at our next story, shall we? Our next story, move on to Bonia. That's right. Our next story is about Bonia. Now, we all know Bonia, right? Whenever you go to Bandar Utama or you go to Pavilion, the Mid Valley, there's always a local player in here. I was told the Bonia boss actually lived just behind my house there in Tropicana. Tropicana there, that's right. So, and Bonia, like it or not, it did do pretty well. Its rating is only 2 out of 8, not so much investment, but again, pay a decent dividend of 3.7%. Shall we look at the, okay, let me key it in there. Okay, Bonia. Let's look at the chart, all right? Okay, so you can see it's rated 1 out of 8. Let's look at the stock price now. Yeah, stock price is still there around 54 cents. We're going to look at the Bursa after this. Definitely what is the play, stock comment. And we have, again, a very similar playbook according to the charts. You can see supported around the 50 over cents in here. Again, the chart settings accumulation very similar to SKP. Now, the importance of this article, which was highlighted by the analyst in CGS-CIMB, was that it is recording a 15.1 million, up 51% year on year, 9 months. Now, this is quite significant because considering the COVID-19, most retailers are stopped. We have seen from the previous story, VS are facing headwinds, not doing too well, but Bonia able to hang on. So to me, that's pretty good. And the same report also stated that, look, the online sales, you may think of it e-commerce, right? But it's only up 3%. Again, this is also very similar to the story which we talked about previously, was the Zoom communication. You know, the Zoom meeting, despite the COVID-19, they have found out that new sign-up hasn't been very slow in the first 3 weeks. But subsequently, I did have a follow-up on the news, just like Zoom. The sales came in. So this Bonia may register more sales coming in as the market open up, because people may just don't want to go to the mall, they may just do online. Do take note of this. Chart wise, it's pretty much set up in here. However, if you like this, just go on to the trading plan. Let's look at the trading plan in here, right? And you want to be buying at 61 cents if you break out, or a pullback at 55 cents. Let's look at what the stock price now. The stock price now is at 50 cents. So which means we want it to go a bit higher before we want to buy. So do take note of that one. Okay, and analysts rated it as undervalued. Okay, as it generates profit despite COVID-19, which in my opinion are quite significant. This news in here. All right, so take note, Bonia, something that you like, retailer. If you do see retailer like Padini moves up, Bonia will also move up. Maybe just for a second, let's check at Padini stock price. okay? But it's not Panini, it's Padini, okay? Okay, let's look at the stock price and Padini. Right, it's 257, no change. And I look at the chart wise. Okay, again, if you look at chart, let me switch over, and you can see chart wise, Padini is very, very similar. Okay, it's very, very similar. Base building, a lot of tests around $2.50. Okay, do take note of this one in here. The SmartRobie on my display here, it's very lagging due to the bandwidth that is coming in. Just take note. You can use a SmartRobie if you've downloaded a copy. So make sure you have this on you every day, right? And remember, right, if you want to use it during the day, there's a little small credit to pay on with a minimum charge of 5 ringgit a day. That's about it. Other than that, you can use it after office hour, which you don't have to pay out. So that's Padini as it comes out on the screen in here. You will see it is building a nice base in here, and you really want to get in before the market goes up if you like the retailer. Again, going back to stock fundamental, let me just bring it up in here. And you can see stock fundamental, it is giving a 4.47%. Something's very interesting on this chart in here. So do take note of this 4% dividend. Perhaps some of you would like a dividend play, which is much better than the fixed deposit in the bank. Okay, let's move on to our next story, shall we? And our next story will be on one of those stocks which I wouldn't like to buy myself too. Okay, so take note of that. It's no other than Scientex. I was told, I can't remember this. It does have something like 300 million cash again. This company is cash free, so you can read all about it you can go on to the website. This is definitely undervalued stock, and Robie rated a 6. You can see on the orange section there in here. We can type Scientex, okay, in here. Scientex, hit onto the button, all right. On the right hand side, you can see Scientex coming in out here. Bring out the charts. Of course, you already have the fundamentals. A 6 out, and something I wanted to get, but I'm just looking for the last time when I saw this chart, I was very excited around $8. I know it's pricey, okay? That's what you pay for. And one thing about good of it, this is a dual play, right? In terms of the plastic film, right, and as well as affordable housing. Now, unlike the other one like UEM and Ecoworld, which focus a lot on a little bit on luxury above the 600,000-700,000 ringgit, the Scientex mainly in Johor, as I understand, they have a lot of affordable housing in here, and it's give you a good exposure of those of you who want to have some play on housing and the plastic film in terms of, you know, wrapping foods and things like that. Oh, of course, you can always go to their website. Let's check it out. You go over to the stock fundamentals, all right, and you can see in here 6 out. It doesn't get better than that. So you hit on to the website here. You will see on the chart. Let me just switch on to the chart here, and right. And the first thing they did is they thanked the frontliner. I do hope they don't go into the PPE making. Now remember yesterday's story, right? We talked about the PPE players like even Rubber Glove has gone to making face masks. SCGM has gone to making face masks, and they're facing margin squeeze because everyone is doing that. So you can see Scientex here is talking about, you know, 3.2 billion, 3,008 metric tons and affordable housing. All right. So read all about it if you want to. All right. But definitely a good dividend play. And it's undervalued if you look at it. Target price from the chart. Okay. Target price from the chart. Let me just switch back here. Right. You will see the target price is 11 ringgit 46 at the projected PE of 15.5 times. Because right now it's only just short of 12 times. So if you look at 15, it has an upside of 30%, which is calculated by Robie automatically. So you don't need to calculate all this. If it's undervalued, Robie will calculate for you. All right, let's move on to the next story that we have. Right. Oh, but just a reminder, net profit fell by 4.4% to 69.62 million, which is okay, not like 50% in here. So 4% is still fine in my opinion. Okay, let's move on to the next story. Manufacturing again, 1.9 billion, property is 636 million. Now the next story is on AirAsia, right? There's been talk about exiting AirAsia from India. Then they say yes, then they say no. So it's a lot of, decision making. Now, AirAsia, we all know, are facing tough times because of the COVID-19. We have seen many of its cousins, not in Malaysia, in overseas, like in SIA, Singapore, American Airlines, and also Ryanair in Europe. They're all facing same problem. Of course, Tony Fernandez, his mentor, right? No other than Sir Richard Branson with his Virgin Atlantic or Virgin Airlines are facing the same problem also in Australia, right? And they wanted some bailout. They couldn't get it because they said this is a foreign company, Richard Branson company. So they decided to fold up. I haven't seen the latest news on that yet. So what is going on with AirAsia, right? So AirAsia is definitely consolidating its base. So with that will be our this evening talk. So join me tonight at 9:30 to 10:30. It's what happened to AirAsia? Is it a good time to buy right now? So make sure you join me then. I'll talk more on AirAsia. Of course, let's look at AirAsia chart right now. Right, you can see it here. And you can bring up the charts. Of course, our Robie chart it's there, right? It is still in orange trend zone. That tells you it is not ready to move higher yet. No doubt you may see there's a spike over the $1. It has pulled back a bit from this chart. Let me just blow it up. You can see up in here, but that will be another play. Of course, you can always use the trading plan to give you a bit more target on what price. Let's move on to our next update. Will be our US market and the current market. Now, last night, the Bursa, as I said before, the KLSE, let's look at the KLSE right now, right? It's important that it stays above the 1500 level. It stays about 1507. So that's very good. That's very encouraging because it needs to stay above there. Breaking anything below 1550, to me, that's detrimental too. So you can see right now, market is down 4 points. And if you bring this thing up, you can see on the chart, on the right hand side of the screen, it has a spring yesterday, which means the market actually fell, I believe at one time of more than 10 points. It came back and it forms a nice spring. You will see it on the chart, on the right side of the chart in here. Yeah, that's right, that's the spring. And if there is a nice follow through, we might see KLCI turn blue, which means it's a green pentagon in there, right? So we don't know. This is going to all depends all on the US. So those of you who's watching, just use the Dow Jones futures so you can follow where the market is heading in there. And Singapore is yesterday closed about 5 points. Now, of course, the next section we're going to be looking at, very exciting, are our premium alert. Now, yesterday we selected Cuscapi and also CAP, and you can see Cuscapi were one of the top gainers yesterday, almost up 20%. By the time when we selected it was around 9:30. So take note, a lot of the premium alert, if you follow this, we select it before the 10 o'clock session. If you have the SmartRobie, go in there and look at the premium alert, the 9:30, and it comes out every 30 minutes. So that's something you can get you in, just like Cuscapi. Okay, we're going to look at Cuscapi after this. All right, let's exit from here and move on to our next thing. Now, in our premium alert section right now in here, so you can always see the timeline in all our morning talk posts together on the SmartRobie 2 in here. Definitely you can see LHI, WZ1, Wasese, Cuscapi, and CAP. Let's look at it right now. Okay, let's switch over. So Cuscapi. Okay, we'll hit this. And okay, let's look at the premium alert first. Okay, let's look at the premium alert first. So premium alert, we have some new stocks that come out. Definitely SKP is the one that I like. Let's select the stock for today first, since we're on this screen in here. Okay, 7155. Let's look at the stock price is up 3.6%. SKP, and remember SKP was a story we covered yesterday, isn't it? Right. So let's look at the chart. Yep, it's making headway right now. It's ready to move up in here. It's pretty nice, and you can see we have two look like cluster closes, not one of the best cluster closes. This is something we teach, and it's ready to move up. So SKP is something I will select for today. Okay, And the other one is also on the premium alert is Hexza, which I selected. Okay, let's look at Hexza. Okay, Hexza livestock price, and it's up 1%. Let's look at the real-time chart in here. So we move up. Okay, now all the trade VSA, the real-time chart, we look at 5 minutes or 2 minutes, it's all available on the trading view. Okay, so you can see up here, yep, this may be, oh, it's already turned green pentagon. That's very nice. You can see that, right? Right now, oops. The thing with the phone, you have to really squeeze it a bit. So that's what sometimes we want to see it. You can use a desktop, and else it's all about manipulating using your little fingers that you have. Okay, but it looks pretty all right. So far so good. Okay, let's look at the cap cabaran yesterday, which we had stock pick that we picked. So you can see cap cabaran in here. Okay, let's look at the cap price. Cap price, I think it's still staying there. And Cuscapi. Okay. All right. Something is not that correct. Okay. Like CUSCAPI. Ooh, it's not responding. I'll have to ask. We'll look at the Cuscapi later in there. Okay. Okay, for this chart in here. So that's let's move on to our next story that we have. Right, is no other than the market. Now we always talk about these corrections. So how do you make money from corrections? Definitely you want to know the right move. And this Saturday we were doing our Foundation 1 course. Those of you who are interested, you can register. There's a number in there. Take a picture of this, and we will teach you how to profit from this market correction before the next move. Because in newer episodes we will see this market will continue to go higher. Now also don't forget all our free talk that we have. And also this Saturday, I'll be speaking also with the UOB Kay Hiang, and follow us on the live Facebooks. Okay. So that's all we have for today for our Money Talk show. Thank you for coming, and don't forget to become part of our 4,000 Telegram follower to be updated on all news and updated. Thank you for watching.